Second Cup, brought to you by the Nickel Plate. Sit, sip, savor, and shop.
Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on the start of a Friday. Thanks so much for being with us for Second Cup. This has been what feels like a very, very long week. Starting with Monday, the Bills lost, to here we are on Friday. And, we're talking about that plane crash in D.C. It's just been like so much emotional.
Yeah, a very, very heavy emotional week.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting when you put things into perspective. We were miserable on Monday.
Right.
Because of a game.
A game, right.
And then you consider what happened yesterday, and it just puts things right into perspective.
Yes.
And like how things can change and how people are impacted, and it's all still stinging in every way. But we did make it to Friday, so congratulations! You've earned it. It's time for the weekend. It's been a lot. And
yes,
thanks for being here with us,
Jeanette. Exactly. It's been a long week. Do anything good this weekend, Taylor?
Mm-hmm.
What's your middle name?
Michelle.
I knew that. I was going to say Marie, but I knew it was
Michelle.
an M. Okay.
It's my dad's name, Michael, without the A.
Ah, I love that.
I have friends in town from Syracuse. My Syracuse pals are here. They got in last night.
Love that.
My friends Jada and Abby, they will be here for the weekend. Today, we're just going to do dinner.
Cool.
I'm going to take a big nap. My one friend's never been here before, so I'm taking her to Barville. And then tomorrow we're going to go to Ellicottville for the day.
Great idea. It's going to be cold too, so bundle up.
I know, it's going to be freezing. We're going to do tubing and stuff. But I figured it'd be better than like a day like today where it's like slushy and wet and stuff. At least it'll be cold and frozen. So should be fun.
Peter says, love your hair, Taylor.
And your hair too. Look at us both.
Thank you.
It's a big hair week for me.
We're just so fresh, so clean. So fresh and so clean. Weekend plans, if you're looking for something to do, Groundhog Day is coming up tomorrow. It's Buffalo's Groundhog Day. Buffalo Burt will make his prognostication. Will we see 6 more weeks of winter or an early spring? Now, this is happening this year at a different spot. It used to be at Flying Bison. Now it's going to be at the Banshee in Buffalo's Chippewa district.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in having some day drinking for a good cause, Buffalo Groundhog Day might be the place to be. We were going to have a guest on here this morning, though he's not here. So if you want more information, we've got it in the link for you on the 7 things to do that Julia does.
Yeah.
So maybe what you can do, Erin, our esteemed editor who turned producer because she's so wonderful and talented.
So
maybe what she can do is drop a link to Julia's 7 things in the comments. Oh, Mac, just in time, Mac. Oh my gosh, we were literally just talking about you. He just arrived. Come on in, Mac. Let me get you a microphone. And I'm talking about how, maybe Erin can here. Just stand right here.
We were just bragging
We're going to zoom out to a 3 shot here. Come on in, Erin. Here, give me the microphone. Erin, come say hello, by the way.
Welcome behind the scenes. Erin, the people
want to
see you. Come in, we can't see you.
Yeah, the people want to see you. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is Erin. She's amazing.
She's the best.
Here, Mac. I'm going to put this microphone on you.
Excellent.
We want the red microphone, right? Okay, perfect. Here, Mac, I'm just gonna do this dirty, okay?
Yeah, whatever way it works with you.
Okay, thank you, Mac.
Peter's
got
right. He's shouting out
Here, you can hold
early
on.
birthday.
Okay.
Katie's birthday.
Oh yeah, tomorrow she turns 40.
Katie's turning the big 40 tomorrow, so we've got our eyes on that. Happy birthday to her.
All right, Mac is here from Buffalo Groundhog Day. Mac, good morning.
Good morning, Buffalo. How's everyone doing today?
Glad you're with us. Okay, give us the rundown. Buffalo Groundhog Day this year, new place, the Banshee.
Yeah, we're going to have a great time. We're having a party tomorrow at the Banshee from 12 to 6. It's a great fundraiser for animal causes in Western New York, like Hawk Creek Wildlife Center and Buffalo Animal Shelter. We're going to have a real groundhog giving a real prediction. Puxatawny Phil, he talks about early spring or whether winter's going to be here, but he's only accurate about 35% of the time.
Phil sucks.
You can flip a coin and have a better chance of being right than Puxatawny Phil.
Wow.
But Buffalo Burt, our groundhog, is the most accurate groundhog in the world, and that is certifiably proven 100% accurate every single time.
Okay, talk about this here.
What are you wearing? Tell us about it. You can put this down too.
Great. Well, this part of my role as part of the inner circle of Buffalo Groundhog Day is to tell the temperature and the time. And I get the crowd excited. It's one of my roles. And this is the thermometer that we use to tell the temperature. And so this has been used in all of our celebrations from the beginning. And it's always been a part of what we do.
Now, from what I understand, Buffalo Groundhog Day has won awards in the past.
That's right.
Now, how important is that to this kind of an event, this winter celebration in Buffalo?
Absolutely. So the Northeast Council of Winter Festivals have given us an award about 2 years ago. And it was great. It was a big celebration. We had a banner. We did not win the award last year, but this year we're going to go for it really hard. We're hoping to get it. And it's good to get the recognition to know that we are a great winter festival, not just for Western New York, but for the Northeast or for the country. This is a great fun time for a great cause at the Banshee. And we couldn't do it without our title sponsor, Pasquale Bocchicchio PC, our partners at the Banshee, and all of our other sponsors. Without them, we couldn't really make this event happen. Yeah. And so we're really grateful.
Well, and this time of year, we were just talking about how it's finally the end of January. It's been a long week. It's felt like a long month. Why is it important to have something for people to look forward to and come together this time of year?
Well, I mean, let's face it. January in Buffalo is the longest month of the year. I don't care how many days it says. It feels forever. And it's just good to get people out and about and just outside and together and gather in a space where people can celebrate the weather and hopefully, cross your fingers, have an early spring, because we need it, guys. It's been a long month. It's been a long winter.
Can you talk to Bert?
Yeah, what is your conversation with him?
Well, like I said, we can text, we can call. He likes to stir a little bit before he comes out, but Bert is a kind of a cantankerous guy, so you gotta get him at the right time. You gotta make sure he has his second cup of coffee, just to make sure.
Great plug.
Yeah, gotta make sure that he's caffeinated to the right degree, just to make sure he's in a mood to talk.
Mac, what is the cost to get in? What's the cost? I mean, because it was at Flying Bison, we got drink tickets or tokens last year. What do we need to know this year?
Sure. Oh, tickets are still available pre-sale for $15. You can order those through our website, which is buffalogroundhogday.com. We also have a Facebook page that you can go link up to buy tickets. The day of, they go up to $20. And for either the pre-sale or the actual tickets tomorrow, you get a drink token. There's live music from the Orange Zest band. There's going to be live animals from Hawk Creek. So they often bring some birds and owls and things like that. There's going to be alpacas. So it's a great time just to go out and see some animals and hang out with your fellow Western New Yorkers.
BuffaloGroundhogDay.com is the place to buy those tickets. $15, you said, pre-sale?
Correct.
And the money goes to a good cause, to Hawk Creek Wildlife Center, portions of the proceeds anyway.
Sure.
Tell me what they do and why it's so great to partner with them.
Hawk Creek is an animal shelter and helps to rehabilitate birds and other animals throughout the country. They actually send them to Hawk Creek to do that. So if you ever go down there, it's in East Aurora. They're available. I think there's some times on the weekends during the summer where you can visit. They have eagles, they have lynxes, they have all different animals. In fact, they have Buffalo Bert. And there's a display at Hawk Creek with our sign and with everything, and you can see the groundhog in the summer. Yeah.
I have a potentially rude question. How heavy is Bert?
It's winter. He's hibernating.
Well, everyone's a little heavier in the winter. Everyone's a little heavier. I would say he's about 10, 12 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Easily to pick up. But yeah, the winter weight is definitely affecting all of us.
Mac, you are dressed up as if you are like in the movie Groundhog Day. Walk us through why this is what your getup is, and tell me about the Inner Circle.
Well, the Inner Circle was formed originally when a group of us went down to Puxatawny and said, we can do our own spin on what Groundhog Day is. And so we decided, let's throw this party, and we've been doing it for 12 years. And so, members of the Inner Circle wear the bow tie, with the little.
You look good.
Yeah, look this. We all have our little other gimmicks as well. Like I said, this is the thermometer, and we all have our roles. So each member of the Inner Circle has something to offer and to provide to go incorporate with the ceremony before we get the actual weather prediction.
Well, it's going to be a great time tomorrow at the Banshee in downtown Buffalo. What time does it start?
It starts at noon.
Okay.
The prediction is going to be about 2 o'clock, so get there by 2 for sure.
And look, if you want to have a fun day drinking time in downtown Buffalo, right, on a cold winter day in February, this is the place to be.
Absolutely.
All right, Mac, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate you.
Tell Bert we said hi. And
Mac is really not his real name. By the way, it's just a nickname. Andrew, say your last name for us.
Andrew Kovalevsky.
Thank you very much. His friends call him MacGyver. But here
that's a whole other story. We can have that story off air maybe. But yeah.
Appreciate you coming in.
No, appreciate being here and talking about Groundhog Day. Thanks, guys.
Have fun tomorrow.
I will. Hopefully we'll see you both.
Yeah, no doubt.
Good, yeah.
All right. So let's talk about what else is going on here this weekend. Thanks, Mac, for coming in.
Thank you.
Peter says, I've been yelled at by people as never seen the movie Groundhog Day, especially being born on Groundhog Day.
You've got bigger things to worry about, Peter. You just celebrate your birthday. You just be you. I've never seen the movie either.
Somebody was wondering, where is Hawk Creek? It's in East Aurora. I love Lori. We're all day drinkers. That is so funny. Peter, I want to pet groundhog. No, you don't. I don't think you do, Peter.
They kind of have their own thing going on.
Yeah, so
you
funny.
Want a prognosticator in your home.
And again, what my friend Aaron, bye Mac, thanks again. What my friend Aaron is going to do is drop in the link in the comments here. 7 things that you can do here in Western New York. Again, that's buffalogroundhogday.com. And more information, of course, in Julia's story.
Bunch going on this weekend. Hopefully you can get outside or inside, anywhere, and enjoy something. Just to celebrate.
Speaking of downtown Buffalo, should we talk about the blight that's going on right now? So one common council member is calling for action after 2 buildings in the Allentown neighborhood have seemingly fallen into disrepair. And Mitch Nowakowski, the councilman, says enough is enough. He's putting his foot down, calling for action, saying, look, they've had so much heartache and trouble in the city's Allentown neighborhood, especially with the old Pink and Brick Bar burning down. Now he doesn't want the same thing to happen to these 2 buildings.
Well, if you're driving by the Allentown area this morning, a little later, you'll see a protest happening today around 11 o'clock with Common Council member Mitch Nowakowski really sounding the alarm here about how big of a problem this is. Because when you've had 2 buildings burned down, when you've had construction for 4 years and small businesses, and now Just Pizza, we told you the other day, or Allentown Pizza rather, closing, boarding up, it's concerning. And you want to see your communities and your neighborhoods thriving. You want to see people walking around and enjoying. And I think it's been a while since Allentown has felt that.
Lori says the buildings look like an eyesore. Realistically, Nowakowski told me that this is a burden on the taxpayers. Consider like sidewalks aren't shoveled. People are squatting inside at least one of the buildings. And what his concern is that, you can't have this building thriving with tax dollars coming in, and then there's the potential for danger, in terms of a fire potentially, God forbid, somebody squatting inside, what happens in the winter, buildings burn in Buffalo.
Yeah. And who owns these buildings? Do we know?
2 guys, a whole group of guys. It's an LLC rather, and they, according to Nowakowski, have a very large portfolio, but are letting these buildings sit idly for a tax write-off, he says. So he's really pissed and wants something done here. He sent this letter to these owners calling for some action here. And he's holding a protest this morning at 11 in front of these buildings. You've probably walked by this one building in particular a million times, didn't even realize what was going on. But he says that this is embarrassing.
Yeah, Julie calling it out, saying these buildings used to be the nicest place to live back in the 80s. That was the place to live. How sad now.
Yeah. And then Peter, Allen Street is a historic and great area that needs to be preserved. And this is the unfortunate part, when landlords, in Nowakowski's words, are negligent, we see the end result here. And so he wants some change. So we'll be on top of that one for you throughout the day.
Yep.
To go back to the plane crash here.
Yeah, there's so much more. I mean, it's been just over 24 hours since we first, talked about it. And
we had Robin Tolsma on yesterday.
Yeah, and that was a really powerful conversation that we had yesterday, if you joined us for Second Cup. And since then, we've been learning more about the victims, learning more about what might have happened here. There's still a lot of questions and confusion. The NTSB was out there and they were sharing some pictures this morning, looking at the black box from the helicopter and the plane. And it's just so sad. Yesterday, it's the shock feeling of, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. And today, your heart is so heavy. You learn that, a lot of these were young kids who were incredibly talented figure skaters. There was a professor at Howard University who was just about to start her career. I mean, numerous stories, and there are now people who are without their loved ones. And you heard from some of them this morning, and it just hurts you.
What guts me, and Robin is here with us, actually. And Robin, we really appreciate you joining us yesterday for Second Cup. And this was one of those, awe-inspiring moments, I think, for all of us to sit here and have a 20-minute conversation with Robin where we're kind of like, oh my gosh, hanging on every word.
It's the perspective, like time stands still when you're hearing from someone and you're having that real raw moment. So thanks, Robin, again.
And that's the coolest part about Second Cup. We're able to have that conversation with you and share voices all around.
And whether
I love
we're
that.
all smiling together or all sharing an emotional moment together, we can experience that as one and as a community.
And so Linda says, thank you for all your thoughts yesterday. You are an inspiration to Robin. She says, Jeanette, such a strong, powerful woman. Thank you for reaching out to her, Ed. And I loved how she was on the news later too. Everyone needs to take a moment and pause. Robin saying it was an honor to join you all. Later in the day, we actually heard from 2 other people. So we mentioned Karen Wylinski on the show yesterday morning. And Karen, who, is an incredible woman, literally lost everything. She lost her home. She lost her husband, Doug. He was the one on the ground. And we also heard from Jennifer West, who lost her husband, Ernie, and had a young daughter at the time, Summer, who really never had the chance to bond with her dad, growing up as a toddler and losing your dad. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
But listen to what they had to say, because, both of these women have such, a perspective that I think is just so important to hear on top of Robin's. Listen.
It's a shock to turn on the TV and have that come up like almost immediately. And that it happened like so close to our anniversary too, that just, drives it home more.
Just to see it, it brought back all the memories, reliving, all the steps they have to go through. My heart goes out to the families because I just know that the next year is going to be horrible, and their life has changed forever.
Okay, so I got to be completely honest with you and transparent, because, I think it's really important that we have that conversation here on Second Cup. Jennifer West, listening to her story, listening to what she had to say this morning, and hearing it for the first time while we were on TV really screwed me up this morning. Because, I've known Jen for 14 years. These families I've been down to Washington with these families. I've spoken with the families. I've gone in depth with them. And each time I was telling you, when you speak with them, you try and put yourself in their shoes and really empathize with them. But having something like this, a tragedy like this again, and hearing from a dad too, who've lost their wife and their child, it totally screwed me up.
Yeah.
And then hearing Jen explain why it was so emotional and explain that the next year is going to be so awful, I couldn't even find the words to come out of that and go on. It was just, it's so powerful, and her emotion really just struck me.
Yeah, it's going to stick with me, I think, for days and weeks. And for us, and for many of us, actually, we spend, unfortunately, a lot of time talking about terrible things that happen. Things happen all the time, and we're constantly, donating to causes and grieving. So many wild things happen. The wildfires just, earlier this month. So when we're talking about this one, though, we can be desensitized so when these things happen. But this really, I think, hit home for a lot of us here in Western New York, especially. And that's why we take that moment to really recognize what these people might be going through.
And Lynn is right. I'm in tears right now. I can't hold it in. And I think so often what we do in this business up here, and likely what so many of you do as well, you compartmentalize. We feel what we want to feel. And when we pause and actually understand how absolutely tragic this is, both in this case, 3407, and the case of this plane that crashed with the helicopter in Washington, it is impossible to think of the consequences. And the consequence really is this poor man doesn't have a family anymore.
Lives forever changed. The one man, his daughter was a cancer survivor, and he's expecting them to come home just normal, come back from this trip, and they don't come home, and he's got to, I'm sure, cancel appointments and plan 2 funerals now.
Right.
I don't know.
And how do you do that? And what Robin said yesterday, she was so right. In this next year, she says, they will be inconsolable. I think the families will have grief with a purpose, as we did. And I think that she was right when she said, those little things are going to be tough to tackle. Shoveling the sidewalk, paying the bills. She relied on her husband, Darren, for so much, she said, and then to have to learn to do all of that. It's
starting
like
completely over at a time in your
Yes.
life where you thought, everything's figured out, I've got it. And there's so many like daily trivial problems that we all
Yes.
deal with that are probably so minuscule to them now. Their worlds are gotta feel empty.
So Barbara says, Ed and Taylor, it's important to feel the feelings. It makes us better at our jobs and better as human beings.
right.
Lynn says, I still don't understand why there's so much pushback for these basic necessities of safety and standards. And every so often, these families are having to fight for that FAA reauthorization bill, which keeps their one level of safety, as they've called it for 16 years, in place. And this one level of safety took so long to get every box checked.
And they're working tirelessly, spending their time going to Washington, talking to lawmakers to make sure that we're all safer when we fly.
Right. And what we didn't know hurt us. 3407, we kind of finally understood that it wasn't Continental flying our plane. It was a third party that was contracted with Continental, branded as something different, but it was not Continental pilots and it was not Continental stewardesses and flight attendants in the cabin. It was Colgan Air flying that plane, and they weren't trained to the same safety standards that mainline carriers were trained.
Robin saying the pushbacks amount to airlines want to cut costs.
Right. And then you're right, Erin, this is exactly what she said yesterday. Grief is the proof of love.
Yeah. Oh,
it's awful.
It's so tough. And in yesterday's situation, the more you think about, they were seconds away from landing safely. They were right there, right over the Potomac. And then you get into that track and that runway. I mean, moments, seconds away.
Yeah.
And if something would have been different, they could all be home right now. But tragedy, 9 o'clock at night, cold winter. Ugh.
Robin, again, re-emphasizing what she was saying yesterday, grief is the price we pay for love. The stronger the grief, the more you love that person. Gutting. That is gutting. Gutting. Mark saying the same, that was the same, Ed, with this flight, a third-party airline. Right, so again, it was a regional carrier. As far as I know, I might have, I've seen conflicting reports actually on that.
Yeah.
But again, since 3407, those pilots, regardless, across the board, have been trained to the same standard as opposed to a regional and a mainline carrier. But Mark also had mentioned before that this was the same jet that crashed in Clarence Center in 2009, as we're weeks away from marking 3407's tragedy. And Mark, I respectfully want to push back on that because what crashed here was a Bombardier jet. Bombardier, I think, was a Dash 8, and that had propellers on the wings, and it had that big tail with the Continental World logo on the back. But again, not a Continental plane. And this, I think, was a CRJ.
Mm-hmm.
So two different planes that crashed in both circumstances, but certainly a tragic moment nonetheless.
Yeah, and there's still so many questions surrounding what happened. They're going to try to release a report, the NTSB, as soon as they possibly can, but there's so much that they've got to work through to figure out.
Well, okay, so new pictures coming in from the NTSB overnight, and they have the black boxes from that American Airlines plane, and they're going to be going through everything, the voice recorders, the flight data recorders, and what will they show? What were the final moments in the cockpit like? The alarms going off, the commentary. Was there a sterile cockpit throughout all of this the way it's supposed to be? Not that I'm putting blame or anything. I'm just raising questions.
There's going to be a lot that we figure out. And I think that goes to Robin's point earlier, is that we're going to keep learning more. And these people are going to have to keep reliving their trauma and, seeing the video and experiencing this. And they've got so much ahead of them. And I hope that they're surrounded by loved ones and supported.
Larry wondering and suggesting he can't get over the president talking political during this tragedy. It's, I think, a tough moment for all. And, I think it's just tough, period.
For sure.
Anita says, a tragic end to January, praying for all involved, as well as a better February. Yeah. No doubt.
Positive look ahead.
Well, tomorrow, a big day here in Buffalo as we turn the page to February 1st. Woo! Katie's birthday. So everyone wish Katie a very happy 40th birthday.
Oh.
She's a new mom.
New mama is turning 40. What a big couple of weeks for her. We're so excited to celebrate with her in every aspect. Huge year in her life.
Hey, have a great time, a great weekend with your friends.
Thank you.
Show them off
You
Buffalo.
relax this weekend, please.
I
Kick your
will.
feet up. Read that book. Tell Gladys I love her.
Oh
It'll
my-
be a good weekend, everyone.
my
Let's leave it at that.
Gladys. Have a great day.